Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest today is Brittany K. Moore. She is 27 years old, and she's known as the crazy purple-haired mama and her tobacco pipe thoughts on YouTube. Incredible self-published author of She's Fine, available right now on Amazon. She is also an independent distributor for an addict and CEO of To Get More, play on words, a company established to help like-minded individuals learn how to get more out of their life instead of being stuck on the day-to-day rat race of life. Welcome to the show, Brittany.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. So,
of course.
I'm going to take these off now because that helps me. It was the glasses because it wasn't on me at that point. What lit the fire for you to want to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I had our daughter. She's actually about to be a year old, February 11th.
Yay.
And good Lord, it has gone by fast. And basically what had happened is about 2 months before I had her, I had this fear. And I don't know if it was because I was in the nesting phase while being pregnant or not, but when my husband and I were in California and I had my son, I didn't have to work. And I was very privileged. I was very blessed. And so I had this fear of having to go back to work. And even though I loved my job, the idea of having to leave my daughter once she was born was not really my cup of tea. So I started desperately looking for different possibilities for working from home. And I suddenly stumbled across my mentor, Alicia's post, and talking about Enagic and becoming financially free. And she was also talking about, it was a post about horses and how expensive they are. Well, I have 3, and they are expensive. So me working was, a big priority. But for some reason with our daughter, about 2 months before going back to work, I just didn't want to leave her. And so I got involved with that, and it's like it lit a fire under my butt to really make sure that I didn't have to go back to work. And again, I loved what I did. I was a direct carried for a place called DCAI here in Missouri. And I was taking care of a woman with special needs, and she's such a sweetheart. Love the family. I'm really close with their family and everything. But being away from my own family wasn't appealing. So being able to take back control of my life and be able to stay home with my kids and watch them grow and not have to miss things was incredibly important to me.
That's awesome. And you know what? You have to follow your heart on certain things too.
Yes.
Had a recent departure from my job. So it's kind of a faith leap in a way, but in another way, and it's terrifying, I think.
Oh, yeah.
To jump out of that boat, because to be honest, there's a certain safety and security in jobs, and that paycheck's going to come, but if you don't make sales or you don't do what you do, you're not going to bring any income in.
Yep.
So it's a whole different mindset from being, at a job, safe, secure job, they say. I don't believe in that 100%, but at least if you work, you're going to get money coming in.
Yes.
That's kind of the way that works.
Yeah, that's true. With entrepreneurship, it's a little bit scary because, I've done different programs. People usually consider them MLMs. And so I did Arbonne, and I did Melaleuca, and it's a gamble because you have to make those sales to make money. Whereas if I go to my 9-to-5 job, I'm safe, basically. I'm secure in making my check. No matter what, I can always go get another job at, a McDonald's or something like that, where I'm going to have a steady form of income, because no matter who you are, at some point in time, you're probably going to go to McDonald's or Burger King. Like it's secure. So, but the freedom that comes from being an entrepreneur, I'm able to pursue passions that being in the safe and secure, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't have the freedom that I do have now. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. You really want to have that, because to be honest, it's guiding your own destiny. It's waking up when you want to, or well, sometimes, not always, but it's your own thing, and the only one you got to blame is that person in the mirror.
Yep.
It really is.
Wholeheartedly. Yep.
So it's one thing that I think, and this is just me, I said I'd rather bet on myself.
Oh,
I'd rather
yeah.
bet on myself than leave it to some company to decide my worth.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that that's really important for people out there to understand, is that, no, this isn't easy. This isn't something that we just like, I woke up yesterday and said, guess I'll just do this. It's got to be a burning desire inside your heart and a reason why. And your reason why was your daughter.
Exactly.
So that's good. That's really good. On your entrepreneurial journey so far, what things have held you back? What things have been either internal or external that have kind of limited you, or something that was in your way that you got over?
Well, a big thing I suffer from is depression and anxiety, and that's due to past experiences, having abusive relationships, having an abusive stepfather and birth father. And basically, when I look at it, having somebody constantly tell you, oh, you're never going to amount to anything. Oh, you're never going to be successful. Well, you're just a lazy ass, or whatever. Like, abusive people strive to keep you from being successful, whatever your definition of success is. And with my journey, it's been a struggle of combating those negative thoughts, because no matter what, you get burnt out. Every once in a while you get burnt out, and when you get burnt out, you start to go back into those old neural pathways. And even though I'm formulating new ones, I'm very dependent on, if I'm feeling in a slump, reading self-help books like Think and Grow Rich or The Untethered Soul, and books like those really just relight that fire under me. And then also seeing my husband and the light in his eyes when he sees, people watching my YouTube videos, and sees the sales that I get from my books, and seeing the light in my kids' eyes and remembering, oh my gosh, I get to stay home with my kids and watch them grow and go play with them outside. Otherwise I would be, I get to go play with them outside when it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, whereas other people are at work. And I'm very blessed in that aspect. So remembering to be grateful, it kind of kicks me out of my slump. It reminds me and relights that desire, that burning desire to continue on.
That is so true. I say on this show, I say this all the time. I say that our business is actually a mirror for our own self. So as we grow, that's when it grows. So
Very
there's
true.
so much inside of us that you've been called stupid, or you've been called this, or called names and all this stuff. And names turn into labels, and labels turn into, you internalize that type of stuff, and so your subconscious mind doesn't really know any different,
Yep.
so we start to believe those things. We believe that we're not capable, we're not good enough, we're not what we're supposed to be. And it's really difficult sometimes to overcome that type of stuff.
Exactly. Well, and with starting your own business or becoming an entrepreneur, I tell people the two main things when it comes to being successful, your definition of being successful, is one, being grateful for what you already have in your life. So regardless of, my house has issues, it needs a new roof, it has all these different things that need to be done, but I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the money that continues to flow in on a day-to-day basis. So being grateful, and then also remembering that words matter and thoughts matter. The energy that you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you're putting this energy out of, oh my gosh, I have these bills to pay. Oh my gosh, I have, this person said I'm stupid or I'm never going to amount to anything. If you're putting that energy out, you're hindering the ability of success for your business to grow. For whatever venture that you're in, whether it be, for me, Enagic and writing, it doesn't matter what it is, what your journey is. If you're putting out a negative energy, I'm sorry, but you're never going to be successful. Whereas if you fight through that and you become mindful of your thought process and you work towards having a more positive, grateful attitude and realize what you've been blessed for or blessed with, all of a sudden things just start to flow in, and it gets really exciting. Like I experimented with this, not to go off topic really quick, but I experimented with this because a couple weeks ago I suffered from a miscarriage, and I was just in this really, really bad slump of the loss and everything. And the big thing with it was not just finding out I had a miscarriage, but it took 2 weeks for me to come up with a negative pregnancy test. So for a while, I actually thought that I might have been pregnant with twins and lost one of them. And so I was kind of like, I think I was subconsciously experimenting with my emotions. And all of a sudden, money started getting really tight and things started being really negative. And I was getting angry at the kids. I was getting angry at my husband. And then this week comes along and I'm like, I'm done. I am done having this mentality. I am done feeling like shit. I'm done putting out this negative energy. And all of a sudden I started manifesting money like crazy. Everything, all our bills have been paid and more so. I'm positively impacting my business and growing my business again. Whereas last, 2 weeks ago, it had just stopped. And so I'm like, your thoughts matter. The way you treat yourself and the way you talk to yourself and the way that the energy that you put out, it matters. It doesn't matter who you are or what you believe in. No matter what, the energy and the thoughts that you put out matter.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And we're talking a little bit about past situations and stuff like that before the show. What other things have you had to overcome in your life to get you to this point today?
Well, I have had a lot of trials and tribulations in my life. For being 27 years old, I've had conversations with my mom about it, and with abusive relationships. And my book, She's Fine, actually touches basis on from the time I was 16 and the drug addiction that I suffered from. I was like really, really into doing ecstasy. I went from this goody girl, and my husband jokes about it all the time because him and I met in high school. And I was just this good girl, never been drunk before, never partied. My friends were like really mindful of, I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do anything. And then I turned 16 and I met this guy after we had moved. My mom got back together with my stepdad, which had abusive tendencies. And just to kind of lash out, I guess, I got involved with the wrong crowd and fell in love. And I started doing ecstasy, and I started partying and taking Vicodin and all these different things to numb the pain of this self-hatred I had towards myself. And it ended up leading into self-abuse. So I cut myself and suicidal tendencies just because of this self-hatred. So because of that and the drug addiction, I went through a lot of rehab issues because my mom just wanted her daughter back. And it took me like 8 years of suffering from addiction before I started dating my husband. And I remember this as like clear as day. I was heavy smoking weed and partying with my sister at the time. And him and I had just started dating, and he goes, "Are you high right now? Or are you drunk or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be with me, you need to stop. You need to be done. You need to have more value in yourself. And for some reason, something about him wanted me, all of the, learning about mindfulness, learning about addiction, learning about the neural pathways, everything I had learned in my rehab and my addiction and my self-harm classes and all these different things. It was like, it exploded in my brain, and I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be that negative person anymore. And I didn't want to lose my relationship either. So after that, I started working on myself and working on self-love. And I was, at that time, I was 198 pounds, and being 5'4", that's way too heavy for my height. So I started working on, I hated myself because I felt too fat. And so I started working on my exercise regimen and getting healthy. And it's amazing when I flipped my mindset and started working on that instead, all of a sudden, addiction wasn't a problem anymore. It wasn't my life path. It wasn't, my past mistakes weren't my final destination. They weren't the paving of my future. I was capable of becoming someone more than my addiction with ecstasy. Ecstasy in me, was really bad. But I loved taking ecstasy. And so being able to switch that mentality, if it really came down to it and I had to go through those same things again, I went through, the abuse. In my book, I actually talk about when I was suffering and looking for my next high or whatever
fix.
Yeah, there we go. I ended up in a really bad situation where I actually got kidnapped, and I was missing. Honestly, I don't remember how long I was missing. I remember telling my mom it was a weekend, and she goes, "No, you were missing for 2 weeks or something." I don't remember exactly what the timeline was, but I ended up in a really bad situation because I was trying to go to a rave, and my boyfriend at the time suddenly said, well, we can't go. And so I ended up going with some friends, and those friends ended up being very, very bad people. And I ended up getting raped and stuck in this house. And my stepdad and my mom were looking for me so diligently that the people got scared, and they put me on a train to send me back home. This was in California, in LA, in Rancho Cucamonga. And come to find out, these people were very well known for sex trafficking. And just because of somehow I had gotten on it was a MySpace at the time when MySpace was popular. Somehow in my drug-induced haze, I had gotten on MySpace and messaged my boyfriend. And he had the smarts, the due diligence to contact my parents, and the police officers traced it back to the location. And but because of those situations, even if I were to have to go through them again, they defined who I became. They defined my ability to help and encourage people that just because you're raped, just because you're molested, or just because you go through drug addiction, whatever the case may be, you are powerful, and you are incredible, and you are able to conquer it and get through it and accomplish things that you didn't even know possible at the time being. It may seem like the end of the world, but I'm here to tell you it sure in the heck ain't. There's so much more to life than what you have gone through or your past mistakes and past decisions.
That's absolutely true. And wow, that's a lot to go through. And I think that people see you as somebody, she's all happy and everything's great and stuff like this. And they don't realize what you've been through to get here, to get to this point in your life, So, wow, that's incredible. It really is. It's incredible to see that you're doing so good right now with so much bad that has happened.
I'm very proud of myself, not gonna lie.
Yep, me too. But you can now help other people that are
Yes.
going through the same or have been through the same stuff to say, you know what? If she can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you um, just to a little bit, speak from your heart to the people that are watching, some women or people that are um, could resonate with what you have been through and what you're going through. If you could just talk from your heart to those people.
Well, for people who have, gone through rape or gone through addiction, first of all, touching basis on the topic of rape. So often women or men, because, men are raped as well. They get into this mentality of, and I suffered from this as well. They get in this mentality of, oh, well, it was my fault. And I want you to know that no, it wasn't your fault, first of all, but it is your fault if you stay stuck in that slump. If you sit there and my mom used to tell me this, and it sticks with me because for so long I sat there with a V on my forehead. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean victim. I had a victim mentality. And it is your fault if you sit there with a victim mentality. Yes, it sucks what you went through. It sucks that it happened to you. But at the same time, you have the ability to take that power back. Don't allow the person that took that from you to keep it. Don't allow them to keep that power. You have the capability to remove that victim sign from your forehead and come back and punch them in the face and say, fuck you, I arose on top and I'm a badass because of this, thanks for the life lessons, you suck. But at the same time, I'm gonna, sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna conquer, I'm gonna come out on top, and I'm gonna show you that you really screwed up messing with me. And that same thing with addiction. You can sit there with a victim mentality of, oh, my addiction, oh, well, my dad was an addict, oh, my stepdad was an addict, and all these different things, and that's why I'm the way I am. No, get rid of that mentality and realize how much of a badass you are, and how capable you are, and how in control of your life you are. You have the power. What you do with that power is going to determine if you become successful or not.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I'm going to switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about where you're at now. I know what you've been through. We know where you've been. Where are you now? How are you doing now?
Oh, I'm in an incredible place. I am incredibly blessed. I have two beautiful children. My son just turned 3 years old. My daughter's turning 1 in about 10 days now.
Wow.
It was, yeah, her birthday is actually the day before mine. So I got one heck of a birthday present having her last year.
That's
And
amazing.
we are blessed with 3 horses. We have a few chickens. We have 3 dogs. My husband is absolutely incredible. I'm in college right now. I'm attending Full Sail University, getting my bachelor's in creative fiction writing. And I'm at the point where I've finally reached a level of self-love and appreciation for not only myself, but what has occurred in my life and what I've been given, and the abilities that I've been blessed with, and taking control of those abilities. So like with my writing, I've been writing since I was 8 years old, just to blow off steam. And turning it into, it's not a passion anymore. It's like a full driving desire to continue to write, which is why I'm going through college. And then also the health aspect of being a part of Enagic and being able to change lives with Enagic just because of water. Like so many people don't realize the importance of the water they're drinking. So those two things, along with everything else in my life, I have a wonderful relationship with my mother. And even though I was a total jerk face when I was a teenager, but just everything that I've been blessed with, I wake up on a daily basis and I do a thankfulness practice where I pick 6 things that I'm thankful for in the morning. And then I pick 6 things I'm thankful for that occurred in the evening. And it's so empowering to sit back and read through the different things that I'm thankful for, just even in the morning when I wake up before the kids and sitting in a silent house or hearing my kids giggle. There's so many things that we take for granted. And I just want to say I'm incredibly blessed.
Yes, you are. I love that. I also wanted you to get into a little more about an addict, because I don't think people really understand or know what that is. Or some people do, but most people may not know that. So if you could get into that for a little bit and tell us what it's about and what you do with that.
Well, Enagic is a company, it's a water filtration system. And what it is, so many people say, oh, well, can I just use a Brita filter or something like that? And I'm here to tell you, no, don't do that. We don't realize that whether you're on city water, well, or buying bottled water, there are so many toxins and cancer-causing chemicals in the water now. It's really, really scary. And one of the things that brought me into Enagic was not only being able to stay home with my kids, but also after I had my daughter, I had some serious, serious pelvic pain. And Alicia had mentioned, oh, well, what about Enagic? And Enagic is a water filtration system that hooks up to your faucet, and it produces what's called hydrogen-rich electrolyzed reduced water, which is basically where you have your regular water molecule. And the Enagic machine, it goes through an electric charge and breaks down the water molecule. So if you think of your cells or your cellular wall as a chain link fence, and a water molecule is a little bit bigger, it's harder for it to fit through that chain link fence. Versus when it goes through the Enagic process, it breaks it down so that you can more easily absorb it. So you don't have to drink as much, first of all. And it absorbs in a way where you're not you're fighting health issues, the cramping and the aches and pains and everything. And what ended up causing my pelvic pain, it wasn't the fact of me just giving birth a few months prior. It was because we're on a well here in Missouri. And I had an over amount of minerals because we're in a mining area. I had an over amount of minerals to where my body didn't know what to do with it, and it was causing excruciating pain. As soon as I started drinking the water, within a month and a half, every single pain was alleviated. I also suffer from chronic migraines. I've had chronic migraines since I was 8 years old. I don't have migraines anymore. My mom, she ended up purchasing a machine. She has fibromyalgia, neuropathy, among a whole slew of issues. She doesn't have to be on medications anymore. This machine, because of the process that it goes through and the fact your body can absorb the water, it also produces a negative ORP. Well, what's that? Negative ORP, if you think of it as your oxidation rate or your aging, basically. If you drink a soda, that's a positive ORP. Well, Enagic produces a negative ORP, so it's an anti-aging agent as well. So,
wow.
Yes.
Holy cow. Well, I'm getting up there, so I might want to consider it for me.
I tell everyone that they should invest in it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So that's you're doing that, and that sounds absolutely cool. It really does. It really does. It's fascinating, the science behind it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The best investment my husband and I ever invested in. I mean, the best money we ever spent, and the fact that you earn money from it as well is a big contributing factor too.
So do you own it by selling it? Then that's how you do that, or?
Yeah, when you purchase a machine, you can either purchase it as a health benefit or you can purchase it as an independent distributor. So me purchasing it as an independent distributor, it then becomes my own business. So anybody I sell to, I make money from those sales. And the way, people come at me and say, oh, it's an MLM, they're screwing you over. And the difference with Enagic is it's an 8-point system. So what do I mean by that?
Well, yeah, what do you mean by that?
Well, for example, if I really, really busted my butt and I outsold my upline, Alicia, I can make more money from her. I can outrank her. And so with MLMs, you're stuck below the person. Well, the other thing is with an 8-point system, as you go down, when you get to your 8 points, you don't stop there. You can continue and build your team and build your team. And it's solely based on, even though you make money from the people under you, when they start making a certain amount of sales, you no longer make money from them. So you have to, it's completely based off of independent sales. So it's not like, oh, whatever I make for the rest of my life, Alicia's going to make that from me. No, once I make a certain amount of sales, she no longer makes money from me. But
Oh,
at the
okay.
same time, I'm helping her build her ranking unless I outrank her.
Oh, that's cool. That's different
Mm-hmm.
and something I haven't heard of before. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into a little bit about the book and how we can get that. And do you have anything else coming out, as in a book or something like that, or no?
I'm actually working on a book. It's called Braving the Brand. And just to touch bases on that really quick, I'm actually submitting that to a publisher because I want to go through the publishing experience as well.
Okay.
So I'm almost completed with that one. I was going to self-publish that one as well, but I just really want to go through the publishing experience. And that one is touching basis on, it's a romance novel, and it's touching basis on BLM Mustangs, or the Bureau of Land Management. And it goes through an experience I had with training a Bureau Land Management Mustang. But it's a love story. It goes into the love of a girl and a deputy, and then also a girl and her Mustang, and how they build the relationship with her Mustang as well as the deputy. And so I'm really, really excited about that. I also have my book, She's Fine, out, which it's a fictional novel. So it has fictional aspects along with, what I touch basis on with the drug addiction and everything. And it basically goes over the details of a 16-year-old and the trials and tribulations she goes through. And then she finds out, her boyfriend is involved with something really, really, really negative. I'm not going to spoil it, but and the fear that's behind it. The reason why it's titled She's Fine is because it's a series of 4, and the first one is called Freaked Out. Because if you guys don't know, an addiction term, they tell you, they don't want you to say, like, if they ask how you're doing, they don't want you to say I'm fine, because they consider that fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Instead of saying, the F word, I said freaked out. And it'll go into details in each book, basically her going over the trials and tribulations and getting through it. And I have 2 other things out. They're not books per se, they're more journals. The first one is, they're the same thing, they're just different covers. It's called Every Damn Day. And it goes into details of the DMO, or a daily method of operation. So taking back control of your life, scheduling your day so you can get stuff done and become successful in all aspects of your life. And if you go onto Amazon and you just type in my name, Brittany K. Moore, all 3 of those will pop up.
Okay, that's awesome. We can also put those in the links below, right below where you're watching right now. So that's like right there. And that's something I like to do for people. So it's much easier for people to get that book and read some fiction writing from you, or semi-fiction.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So in this entire journey, what do you feel you've learned?
Where do I start with that? Because I've learned so much. Like that,
Yeah.
I've learned so much about myself and the person ultimately that I want to be. I've learned the compassionate person I am, and how I really enjoy helping people. The videos that I do, I love when people message me and the value that I bring to their life. And then it's so crazy because so many people don't realize, like, the type of person I am. They just see this happy-go-lucky person, like you said, and then they start peeling back the layers and they're like, oh my gosh, like there's so much more to this person. She's not just this, happy-go-lucky bimbo. She's actually got a lot of history and a lot to show and a lot to teach people. And so the compassionate aspect, the teaching aspect, and being able to learn my value and my love in myself. And then also I've learned, thanks to Enagic, it's uncovered my passions, my other passions due to opening that business, with the health and the fitness aspect, but with my writing. If it wasn't for Enagic, I wouldn't have learned how truly passionate I am about writing, because for the last 6 years, I hadn't written anything. And considering I'd been writing since I was 8 years old, it's kind of crazy to think that I went through, 6 or 7 years without writing really anything. And I mean, I'd write little things on Facebook, or, yeah, guys, I'm getting back into writing again. And then I'd just stop. And it was like Enagic opened up the floodgates of, come on, girl, you got this. And so to learn how much I've learned about myself and being able to help other people is just, it's been an incredible journey. And I can't wait to see what comes out in, the next year or the next 2 years or 10 years, down the road.
It is something that we all will look forward to, because you're going to be with us for a long time, and helping a lot of people. If someone was just starting out being an entrepreneur, what would be your advice for that person that just made the decision, maybe I'm going to just start a side hustle and still work, whatever, but I'm just going to start something? What would be the kind of like first steps or things that you would the wisdom you would want to impart on them?
I would say a big thing, and I learned this from Awaken the Giant Within with Tony Robbins. He's one of my favorite people for inspiration. And something that really, really sticks with that book is harnessing your emotions and kind of sitting in your emotions and being mindful of your emotions, allowing yourself to feel them instead of, oh my God, I'm so angry right now and pissed off and trying to shove it away. Wondering, why am I angry? Am I really angry, or am I stressed? Or like reevaluating and being mindful of that. And then choosing to have a more positive attitude and realize that the way that you think now you're not stuck thinking that way. We have the ability, we're very blessed in the aspect that how you were taught or how you learned, whatever you learned in school or your parents, whatever the case may be, it's not an excuse. You have the ability to rewire your brain and reformulate new neural pathways. And that's incredibly fascinating to me that we have that capability. We're very privileged in that aspect. And then also the other thing is realizing that this is a topic I covered in my live video today. Success, it's going to be different for each individual person, but it boils down to the fact that success is ever changing. It's not a final destination. You don't just get there and that's it. It's like fitness. You can't just stop working out and expect to stay fit. Success is ever changing. You're always going to be on this journey, and it's so empowering. Like, that may seem daunting to some people, especially someone first starting out, but I'm here to tell you it's empowering. Use it to fuel you in a way where you realize, oh my gosh, I have the ability to keep going, and once I reach my goals, I can set more goals or continue those goals. And once I reach that success, you're not necessarily reaching success because it's ever changing. You have the ability to determine your life. And just because you hit a roadblock, or you get depressed, or you have anxiety, or you're scared, or you have that fear, allow yourself to feel it, but don't let it take control of you. Don't give up, because as in, Think and Grow Rich, don't stop 3 feet from gold, because you're almost there. So keep on pushing and realize that you are going to do incredible things if you allow yourself to.
That's amazing. I appreciate you being on today. It was a really good conversation. Thank you for being so open and honest. I really do appreciate that. And just thank you so much for being on the show today. And do you want to say anything else to the audience before we go?
Oh, I want to say I am so happy I was able to be here, and thank you for having me. And I hope that you guys got something powerful from our conversation, and that you guys keep going on.
Yeah, keep up the good fight.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So thank you everybody for watching. That is today's show, and I ask that you would subscribe and click the bell so you know when the next ones are coming out, and click the thumbs up if you liked this video. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.